Hi, everyone, and welcome back to my channel all about product marketing and helping aspiring PMMs gain the confidence to land their next PMM role, even without prior experience. So, today's video, I'm really excited to have a former client of mine, and it's going to be a little bit different than most of the videos on my channel. So, I'm here again with a previous client of mine in the accelerator program, Erin, and she's going to talk about her experience interviewing for product marketing roles, her time in the product marketing accelerator program, and then what she's gained from the program. Okay, so let's get into it. So first, of course, thank you so much for being here, Erin. Let's just start with some introductions and kind of that before state. So if you can tell us a little bit more about you, what were you doing before joining the PMM Accelerator program? I think that would be a good place to start.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. My name is Erin, and before starting the program with you, I was in the depths of the job market. I had been laid off in September of last year and had been going through interview processes. I think by the time we met, I was already 6 months into it, and I had already had well over 40 interviews across 19 different companies. So I already knew my resume was at least getting through to human eyes past ATS, and I was getting past those initial first and second rounds, but there was something about that third round, fourth round even, where I could get there, but I was losing it somewhere in the mix. So I had been doing some of my own research, trying to figure out what questions to expect, how to frame my answers in a more concise way. And really, I was just getting to a point of frustration and knew I needed to change. So I happened to, through my research of trying to figure out what these questions are, even watching mock interviews, the algorithm did its job and led me to you. And I happened to get onto your YouTube channel, watch a couple of your videos, and clicked your link to connect with you. So that's what landed me here.
Awesome. And tell me a little bit more about that job that you had before. So did you have any previous product marketing experience, and how did, whatever experience that you had, how did that kind of shape some of the challenges that you were facing before joining the program?
I come from a non-traditional background. Or maybe for some marketers this will resonate, but I came from restaurants. So I was in restaurants. I had worked my way all the way hostess as a teenager to management after college, and then COVID hit. And so I shifted with the world basically and started to look for jobs that would allow me to work from home or get in a more or less people on people setting. So I connected with a founder of a bootstrap company and was talking to him about my resume. Really, this was back in 2020. So I was looking to him to try to help me align my background into the more corporate setting. And he was like, no, I want you. So I started working at this startup as the first and only marketer. And when I started, it was just him as the sales effort and then myself as the marketing effort. And so although I never held that product marketing title, over the 4 years that I was with that company all the way through acquisition, I was effectively doing the work. And so getting in front of you and being able to talk at you of what I was doing in that previous role helped me realize, although I might not have officially held that title, I was doing the work and I have plenty to stand on. So again, getting in front of you to try to help translate what that experience is and how it fits into the product marketing needs.
Absolutely. And I come from, a non-traditional background myself. I think everybody that I know in product marketing doesn't come straight out of college into a product marketing role. So it's always great to hear the different backgrounds that people bring to the role. Can you tell me a little bit more about what your process was when you were applying, considering that you didn't have any formal product marketing roles under your belt? What was the most frustrating trying to break into these roles?
Well, because I wore so many hats in my previous role, I also was spreading my efforts across different openings. And so I would apply for field marketing, I would apply for growth, I would apply for even marketing associate or even leading for those bootstrap roles. So I wasn't extremely focused in my efforts. And the 3 interviews that I had gotten to that round 4, round 3 plus a project were actually in product marketing. And while I was going through acquisition period, I was already starting to think about, okay, what was I doing? What would I like to be doing? And I already knew I had an interest in product marketing. So it started to really inspire me to try to figure out, okay, if I'm getting that far along in these product marketing interviews, I probably should become more focused, but I didn't exactly know how to tell that story. So that's where that's when I really started to research, okay, what are they going to ask? How can I answer that? But then, of course, I found you to really help me refine my answers.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's okay if you don't have a specific answer to this, but I always like asking, like, was there maybe a specific moment, maybe an interview that you felt like, gosh, I could have done a little bit better? Like, was there some kind of tipping point that you said, you know what, enough is enough? Like, I'm not going to do this on my own?
It was more the experience of knowing I had experience, but I couldn't figure out how to get it out of scrappy, scattered, I did a lot of things story into I did this and I was effective in this way. And I think once I was really excited about this one role. It was going to be a product marketing role. I got to round 4 with this company and they acknowledged, like, they really enjoyed all of our conversations and then wanted to still go with someone with a little bit more experience. And so I was really just trying to figure out, I was frustrated by that one because I got excited about it. And I really was just trying to figure out, like, how can I stand 10 toes down on what I did in a way that other people can hear it too. So I definitely was frustrated through the whole job searching experience over the last 9 months, but that one for sure was where I really started to be like, okay, I can't do this on my own, and it's not gonna work out for me to do this on my own. So I needed to shift out of ChatGPT and shift out of maybe family suggestions and into true experience, not only in interviewing, but also in the role.
And I think that brings us right into the next, like, kind of area I want to do a deep dive on. Is like just kind of that decision-making process at the very beginning. Was there something about the program or something about me even that really helped you feel like, okay, maybe I want to consider a program like this? What really stood out to you initially?
Yeah, it was definitely you first. You were extremely responsive. You were flexible with allowing me to do a one-off session that I let you know I would like to just check out before I commit to the full 8 weeks. So you were super responsive. You were flexible with me, and you just made it clear that it was going to work out well, not only like our personalities, but what you were going to be able to offer. And then I realized that your program also comes with community and the courses that you actually get to maintain access to. And so that already spoke for itself. I didn't need to think much further than that.
And if you think about where you were when we had those like first initial conversations and emails where you were trying to decide and maybe I want to do a one-off, like what would you tell someone who's on the fence, like kind of right where you were in that moment? What would you tell them today?
Just do it. You know, I was in a spot of trying to figure out, do I just get this certificate? Do I pay for a coach that costs as much as a certificate? And not really sure what all I'll get because I got basically no answer or an automated answer from them. And so I was really just stuck in this cycle of iterating on my resume and turning to ChatGPT to try to edit whatever I was working on, even run some answers through ChatGPT, which is helpful, but it's not the same as just that person-to-person interactions and guidance. And so really my suggestion is just do it, lean into it, and then you can decide afterwards if you would like to get a certificate. But if you get a certificate and still can't quite nail the interview, then you would still have to go through this process anyways. So I definitely say just do it.
And talking about like your experience in the program. So once you decided it was a good fit, we started working together. Was there something that really surprised you about the program or something that you didn't expect?
I had a pretty good understanding of what I was going to get out of the program. Although, whenever I talk to people about hiring a coach, an interview coach, and they're like, "You mean a recruiter?" I'm like, "No, a coach." One of the things that I always lead with is how you say one of the ways that you're going to do your job well is to make sure that people can also get into this job and feel confident in their success. So that was something that sold me on it, but also that I lead with when I talk about my experience of hiring you. And although it's not necessarily with the program, I was surprised that it worked out that I was literally like start to finish through a pretty extensive interview process. And so you really just like clicked into where I was at and helped me navigate figuring out what to look for with who I'm talking to next, what to kind of expect, how to read the job description to know what they really want. And at one point they wanted a portfolio and I was like, I have PDFs. And you said, well, and then just helped me make pretty good foundational portfolio for myself. So it wasn't necessarily part of the program, but again, it's you. That part was surprising how the stars aligned more so.
Mm-hmm. And what would you say out of everything in the program was like kind of the most valuable to you? So like the curriculum, you mentioned the community and obviously the coaching. What do you think is like the most bang for your buck, I guess?
I think I'm walking away with a better understanding of my story and how to talk about it in a way that resonates. I mean, we were effectively doing PMM work on my story and me as a product. And so I think just overall the whole package of what I'm leaving with, I mean, I'm leaving with answers to questions. I'm leaving with a portfolio, fixed LinkedIn and resume. So I think just it is legitimately just a whole package. And so I really just have no complaints. Only good things to say.
I'm happy to hear it.
Yeah.
And then can you share maybe a specific breakthrough, like a moment you're like, wow, this is really working or this is really clicking for me?
Yeah, on one of the interviews that I had, I actually shared the feedback with you because of how great it was. But I was in a third round and I was with the head of a marketing for the whole organization. And I had asked for feedback for any concerns or hesitations towards the end of the interview as one of my questions. And she just gave me really positive feedback about how I answered thoroughly, how I was able to pull those hard numbers of metrics that were measured. And that definitely had everything to do with you and how you helped me frame those answers so that I could deliver them in that way. So that was definitely a point where externally I was getting validated. I already felt way different in interviews, but it was just that external validation that I got that really I needed to share with you and also let me know like, okay, this was the right choice.
Awesome. I'm so happy to hear that. It's, it's funny because it's like you have all the experience, right? It's just bringing that out in a way that people can really see it. So your win is my win in that sense. So let's talk about the results. So tell me about where you're at in your job search process. If you landed a role, how long did it take? Like, tell me a little bit more about right now.
Yeah. So 9 months, 49 interviews, 28 companies later, I will be starting a job on Monday in a product marketing position. Thank you very much.
Amazing. Yeah, and tell me a little bit more about what you think made kind of the difference and how did you approach searching for the jobs post this program differently to help you land it?
Because I am able to really understand my top 5 stories, it's helped me really figure out how to read the job descriptions and what they're looking for, because a lot of times either it won't be called product marketing or sometimes it looks like it's product marketing but it's not necessarily product marketing. And really just figuring out how to read those job descriptions and align them with my experience to know that I really should be applying instead of just pushing my resume out to any and every job that I saw. Really just being more intentional with what I was actually applying to. And so that once I do get into those interviews, it is just way easier to do. It's way less of a lift mentally. And just becoming more intentional in general really just helped the process along with as far as how I showed up to each interview.
So proud of you and so happy for you. It just goes to show that people can come from all different kinds of backgrounds and be just a rock star product marketing manager or product marketing specialist in the making. So really happy for you, Erin.
Thank you.
And then my final question is just, for someone, again, that is probably thinking maybe where you were at before, like, I can do this stuff on my own. I got ChatGPT. I got a friend that I can practice. Like, what would be your response to them?
Yeah, you do have those resources and they are valuable, but to take yourself out of your comfort zone is where you'll experience probably more growth. So it might not be comfortable to talk to a stranger about what's going on. It might not be the easiest to try to really reflect on what you did in a way that one of my big things was I feel like you know the answers, so it was hard to go through the answers sometimes when the other end has like a specific answer they're looking for, especially in more product marketing focused interviews. But getting outside of your comfort zone and getting in front of a person that maybe you don't know, you can take that and go back to ChatGPT and go back to your friends and practice with what you come away with.
Absolutely. Well, I just want to say again, thank you so much for sharing your story today, Erin. Again, it was a pleasure working with you in the program, and I wish you nothing but the best in your career journey and in this new product marketing role. So proud of you. So if you feel that Erin's story resonates with you, maybe you're in need of a one-on-one interview coach, or you're feeling like you're hitting a wall with maybe getting through to initial recruiting screens, but not getting to later stages, please feel free to check out the description in this video to learn more. And again, thanks so much for joining us today, and I'll catch you in the next video. Take care. Bye.
Thank you.